Welcome to Duality Check, the podcast where two brothers embark on a journey through the realms of scientific inquiry, the mysteries of the past, and the uncharted frontiers of spirituality. Join us as we explore the wonders of our world and beyond, all embracing the roles of curious bystanders rather than experts. Together, we'll unravel the tapestry of existence, blending the dichotomies of knowledge and wonder. Get ready to question, ponder, and delve into the dualities that shape our understanding of reality on Duality Check. I'm Drew.
And I'm Dean, and welcome to episode number 88.
88? I feel like that means something.
Well, it means that we're going to use 1.1 gigawatts to travel through time, because we're going 88 miles an hour. Double infinite.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, episode 88. Sorry for that week break we took, but it was necessary. We were drained.
Yeah. Last
weekend and this weekend still, but last weekend was rough.
We basically had two back-to-back weekends of moving.
Yeah, with work in between.
Yeah.
So we were...
Every time I was not moving, I was...
trying not to move.
Yeah, exactly. I was having trouble moving if I wasn't actually moving.
Yeah, trying to get some sleep.
So today, because I didn't really do much.
Yeah, we didn't.
There wasn't a lot of time to take in a bunch of stuff while all the moving was happening. So,
but exciting because we've been talking about starting this book.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna.
There's no time better than now because this is probably gonna go on forever.
Long time. Yeah.
So it's not gonna be back-to-back episodes on this because it's so massive. Big. So we're gonna talk about OAHSPE, which is something we've talked about a lot in the show. Yeah, go ahead.
Look at this thing.
This thing is massive. And small print too. So I got a really fancy print of the book, which is super cool. It's got two of those built-in ribbon bookmarks.
Yeah, I see that.
The freaking gold edges on the paper. It looks like a really nice Bible.
Yeah.
The way it's printed.
And it's huge.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit today to set the stage. We're going to talk about the guy who wrote this, and we're going to talk about, what were the conditions under which it was written. And there's some intro material in the book as well.
So actually
kind of setting the stage.
Oh, okay. That's nice of them.
Yeah, so we'll go into some of that.
We kind of want to. I want to learn about the man who wrote this. Yeah,
and there's a whole glossary and index in the book. They use a lot of weird. There's
a lot of figures and drawings and
in the middle section there's a bunch of drawings. There's also a bunch of weird language. They use words that mean different things than the common understanding of those words.
Sure.
Some words seem just out of nowhere.
Old English almost.
Some are redefined words that that are part of our vernacular still. But
have a different meaning and connotation.
Right. Anyway, so it's all pretty interesting. And if we can get into the beginning, where they basically have their version of Genesis, the creation of everything and kind of the beginning of everything.
That would be a great way to start.
Yeah, hop in the deep end, right?
Yeah, might as well.
So, anyway, I'm excited to get into all that. And then we'll just throw in these episodes maybe once a month, every couple months.
Yeah.
And it'll just go on for basically forever.
Yeah, I'll probably start a whole new playlist for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
On YouTube.
Anyway, so we'll cover this whole thing. I also brought a couple of the links that we prepped for past shows that we didn't actually get to.
Okay.
Just cool. A couple. Nothing huge.
I added something too, kind of.
Oh,
fun.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know if you refreshed the page or not. But.
I did not. Let me take a look real quick.
Bashar from the 80s.
No way.
Yeah.
Sick.
Even
All
got a
right.
nice 80s retro intro art there.
I haven't checked to see if I have the web browser set up properly, so give me a second. Tell me about this clip.
So yeah, it's kind of like you know, a lot of the clips that I've shown you of Derankla, there have been some from like the last like 10, 15 years probably.
Mm-hmm.
But this is from all the way back in like the beginning of Bashar when he was like, 30 something, 20,
Right, yeah, because he's been a channel for Bashar for a long time.
Yeah,
right?
for a long time. So whereas you see him, now he's a little bit older, slower speech, but this is like peak Bashar channeling, where he's like high energy and stuff.
Interesting.
So it's cool. Yeah, can we
All
check?
right.
You ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Let's check this out. Oh, let me turn on the sound though.
How are you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist? Allow us to begin with the understanding of connections, linkages, and control. If you wish, that is your entitlement. In recently speaking with a member of your society, we did pull forth out of our interaction the recognition that we can now find of great, perhaps, benefit in sharing at this time with you, of the idea of the degree to which you have control over the linkages and connections of every circumstance and situation in your life to every other circumstance and situation in life itself. And by drawing what you may call a mechanical analogy, it may assist in forming a picture in your mentality that is most conducive to a complete and simple fundamental understanding of the way in which the mechanism works that allows you to know you are in control and that all circumstances are linked and connected to all other circumstances, an idea I have discussed many times with you.
Bro, I cannot get over the dolphin t-shirt tucked into jeans.
Dude,
man,
I couldn't actually listen to what he was saying because I was too enraptured by how he was saying
the
it.
enunciations and yeah, I know.
It's interesting.
I understand why people have such a hard time with channels because a lot of them are like this, where it's like you don't know if it's showmanship. You don't know, there are going to be charlatans within the crowd, So, but it's super interesting to see him high energy like that because these are the kind of clips that obviously
there's
not
a
back
different
in the 80s,
accent
but
too.
Stronger.
Really weird, elongated, pronounced
pronunciations.
Yeah, emphases
pronunciation
on his syllables, so I see what you're saying because you could go at this from either direction, right?
Yeah.
You could go at this from the skeptic direction where it's like, okay, this guy is clearly changing over time. So
right.
Even if this was some sort of channel, what's up with that?
Wouldn't it just stay the same?
Right.
But as he clearly states, the other way to think about it is he's an aging man. And his frequency is changing. So his ability to connect with Bashar based on the way he's explained their connection changes over time.
Right.
So the ability for things to there's less energy, there's less,
Yeah, and if you sort of accept Bashar's stated position and story of himself, then he's a sort of ambassador for the planet. And you could imagine that the connection with the channel would develop over time to where the channel could get sort of more and more out of the way for the entity they're channeling.
Right.
So a better connection fidelity basically
would mean less of those intonations.
Right. Also, you could add to that maybe Bashar himself in communicating in modern English
For
is
long
getting
periods of
better
times.
at it,
Yeah.
at learning the contextual.
Yep. Especially by hearing other people talk over the years.
Right, because in here it almost seems like let's say you were in the Matrix, right, and someone just like downloaded a chip of like how to speak a language, but say it was incomplete and you didn't get all the cultural context. You just got the understanding of all the words, how to say them, what things mean,
stuff like that.
Yeah, or maybe even some, but without the full learning of the language, then that means that you might try making analogies that don't translate well. You might try using intonations that you would use in your native tongue, but that don't translate super well in the other language, or are not how people talk culturally in that language. So there's a lot of ways where your speech patterns will develop as you're learning a language more thoroughly.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And the fact that like he's still getting the point across, he's saying the words correctly. It's all like,
I mean, I assume so. I didn't actually hear what he said because I didn't so listen focused on how he said it.
Once you listen, I don't know about the connected thought, because you're right, you lose it after a little bit. It's hard to like, you almost go into a trance.
Yeah.
But
so I almost want to listen again. Let's listen one more time just to like get over how he's saying it and see what he's actually saying here.
Yeah. Let's do that.
How are you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist? Allow us to begin with the understanding of connections, linkages, and control. If you wish, that is your entitlement. In recently speaking with a member of your society, we did pull forth out of our interaction the recognition that we can now find of great, perhaps, benefit in sharing at this time with you, of the idea of the degree to which you have control over the linkages and connections of every circumstance and situation in your life to every other circumstance and situation in life itself. And by drawing what you may call a mechanical analogy, it may assist in forming a picture in your mentality that is most conducive to a complete and simple fundamental understanding of the way in which the mechanism works that allows you to know you are in control and that all circumstances are linked and connected to all other circumstances, an idea I have discussed many times with you.
Okay.
Seemed like clips though, because it was looping a bit.
Yeah. So he's saying basically that there's...
Well, he started by saying he basically has like permission now to share with you the two.
But even before that, he said in having a conversation with someone from your species, I identified an area that might be beneficial to look, and then he got to approve, and he thinks they could share it.
Yeah. So now
which
they
is
can
that
share.
everything is linked. Everything in your life is linked to everything in the universe.
Yeah. And to the degree of which you have control is what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And how everything is connected in some sort of way.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Because it would be very interesting to go into a sort of deep dive of like what all he said. We have record of him saying in like the 80s.
Yeah.
And compare
I guarantee there's a Reddit.
there's
got to be a Reddit forum
to like the modern stuff and see
connections between and whether he's been like,
the consistency, is it evolving with like what you would expect a human's evolution of thought on these matters, who's been keeping up with these matters since the 80s,
right?
Or does it seem beyond
what I mean?
beyond
that?
Yeah, like is it following all the trends of human ideas that we're following? In a certain way it would, because people's questions would target him in those directions.
Exactly. And if he's not outright giving information without questions, without our curiosity,
but it would make you want to like search for contradictory statements and stuff,
Yeah.
fascinating. And sort of related to what we're going to go into today, because in the same way it takes this sort of leap of faith, this just willingness to at least like put your belief on hold and take in what someone's saying before judging whether or not it's true, and even judging the value of the content independently from whether or not the person is full of shit or whatever. Like someone can be full of shit and still say something profound. Like it's possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the message and the messenger are not the same thing.
Yeah. What I was going to say is like the idea that he was talking about there, and like how we are connected to everything in the universe. Is it so far-fetched to think, if you think about how you are a living organism having this experience right now, but there are millions, if not billions, of microorganisms inside your body making sure that you are able to be the thing that you think you are, right? Mm-hmm. Is it so far-fetched to think that that doesn't go out to the macro level as well?
Right.
Like, we are seeing the distance between, like, we know that there's distance between all of the particles that make us. Could it not be a failure of, and I'm just spitballing here, I'm just thinking out loud, but could it not just be a failure of perspective? Like, we just can't perceive the fact that we are a thing in a larger thing, doing a thing to achieve a thing like that we have no idea about, and we're just part of it. So just like all the little things that happen within our body change how we experience the world. Right. Could we not be part of that larger body changing how? Yeah. So like it almost is an analogy of God himself, right? Are we just not parts of the God contributing to God's oneness, and that we are all just little pieces spraying off the tail of God going through the infinite void? And we're experiencing and contributing to... Yes,
but that way of describing it, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but that way of describing it almost like lends itself to a certain sort of like weird spiritual nihilism, you know, where what does it matter? Like if you...
Well, I think the experience itself is why it matters.
No, I know, but there's a certain like what's the term for the overview effect, where like you can have it with like the ocean or with space or whatever.
Like vast.
You can get it with psychedelics.
Open spaces.
Yeah, well, you see the majesty and the size and the scale of everything, and you feel like whole and connected.
Yeah, for sure.
But in a certain way, there's like a nihilistic angle on that, which is like seeing how minute you're basically like a little vibration of a speck of dust on the like windshield of history, of universal history. So it's interesting that like how you focus on these things and like what you pull from it and like what you emphasize can like change the attitude of like how you take those lessons. Sure. And I could see certain people taking these sorts of like spiritual talking points or ideas as almost guarding against them for that sort of sense of insignificance that it might make them feel.
Yeah. I could see it. I mean, but that's with any, you know, that could come with any spiritually
or
significant
even scientific
event.
Facts.
Sure, no, yeah, because a lot of times those are spiritual for the people who are.
I mean, that's kind of our complaint with like materialism and stuff, right? Like, it's not just that it's not really complete, but it sort of puts people in a negative mind space about thinking about their relationship with the world.
Yeah. And that's where like the duality of the nature of everything should come in, barunch, duality check. But the duality of everything, like taking in this and that to get a complete picture of what it is that you're experiencing. Like, if we're going to dive deep and go into quantum mechanics, like maybe there is a connection to the macro mechanics, of everything. But And so looking outward, we can find some answers for the inward stuff, and in so looking inwards, maybe we can find some answers of the macro stuff. Like it's just keeping an open mind. And I think there is a great bridge between science and spirituality. Mm-hmm. And I think that we are only edging closer with AI and with just the state of the world and how everybody is enamored with technology. Like, we're going to get to some kind of crazy, like, futuristic something. Otherwise, something like, barring some, calamity, we're only pushing forward at, Mach 10 towards the futuristic.
Yeah. You're good.
You're good.
You made me think of something when you brought up AI. There was something I listened to over the last couple of weeks, and I can't remember. I think it was Kurt Jungel interviewing someone about AI from the Theories of Everything. It was like a clip, and he was sort of talking about similarities to like how we've talked about AI in the past. Like we don't even understand how our own consciousness works, and as we're getting this thing online, we don't know that there aren't the same sort of hooks technologically that can allow something to essentially drive it. Like,
dude, that's.
I gotta look that up though. It wasn't exactly that, but it was very similar in the way he put it.
Well, and like just the thought of like, if we don't understand our own consciousness, how are we going to know if something else is conscious?
Yes, that is such an important point. Like, I can't even prove that you are conscious.
Exactly.
And I can't disprove it.
Right.
It's just a matter of faith because I'm a human being and I have learned to take whatever is coming in at all times through my senses and learn to tell a story to myself.
Paint a picture with it. Yeah, paint a picture of everything around you with that information.
And that story includes other people as actors like me in the world, right?
Yeah.
But it's an article of faith, and no one can prove that to you. You can't actually know that someone's having a similar internal experience like you are. Mm-hmm. I think it's almost like kind of definitional to what psychopathy is, right? Is almost that lack of caring or recognizing that someone else is like you.
Right. Yeah. You start to distinguish.
You objectify someone or something like a toy, and
in your world, you are the only. Yeah.
So you just do what you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a bit of a random connection, but
big tangent, but hey.
All right. So I wanted to show this, and I think you saw this yourself probably, but in these past couple weeks we did the Charlie Kirk thing, and then we took a couple weeks, and in that time there was an announcement from NASA that there's very possibly microbial life on Mars. So I wanted to play this clip.
And the scientific community that will, in essence, pressure test what we think we've found. So we're talking about Perseverance. This was a mission sent to Mars under President Trump's first presidency. And a year ago, we found a sample, and it was, again, we're exploring in places where there were rivers and where there were lakes. And much as on Earth, we think that that's where we'd see signs of ancient life on Mars. And so a year ago, we thought we found what we believe to be signs of microbial life on the Mars surface. And so we put it out to our scientific friends to pressure test it, to analyze it, and go, did we get this right? Do we think this is signs of ancient life on Mars? And after a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
Pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Man.
Oh, I didn't actually show it to you guys. Sorry. But you heard it.
Oh, I meant to hit the button. I didn't hit the button.
Oh, maybe you can throw it in post.
Yeah, it's just a guy who looks and talks like Gavin Newsom. But The information was all you needed to know.
Yeah, so possible life on Mars. I believe it had something to do, I watched another video about it, and it had something to do with like these spots, these particular types of spots on these rocks in this riverbed.
And they were collecting them for samples.
And based on the chemical composition and like the layout of them and the fact that they were like what they were, where they were, these spots on these rocks in this river. Like we see stuff like that on Earth, but when we see stuff like that on Earth, that's signs of life.
Right.
That's microbial activity that's like spreading out in a spot on a surface of something, right? And they, like he's saying, they kind of went through all these processes of elimination, trying to pressure test it, give other explanations that are plausible, but they all sort of fall apart, and the best explanation is that it actually is evidence of life.
Cool, man. I mean, hey, let's bring back those Mars theories of men are from Mars, women from Venus.
So, yeah, I mean, this is like, I feel like we're in a moment of tiny, slow, tiptoe disclosure.
For a lot of things.
Getting people ready with the idea, like, hey.
For a lot of things, man.
There might be life. It's possible, even for you science nerds.
Well, we're tiptoeing into the UFO, UAP stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people who are in the deep end.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And have nothing to grab onto for purchase as far as facts.
Right.
But they're just like, and I'm halfway there myself, right?
But general population, like, we're tiptoeing
there's a bunch
as
of people
society.
just tiptoeing into the water still.
Yeah.
And I think this is big for an announcement from NASA.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
They could have just kept this under wraps and never told us.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is kind of what you expect, right?
I know. It's sad.
And then I also brought this.
What's this?
This is about that meteorite that came down in like South America or something, and the weird thing grew off it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a video Red Panda Koala posted about it, and I haven't kept up on what's latest or if it's been debunked, but I wanted to share this.
Homunculus.
Early September, a meteor crashed in Panama. This TikToker, Kin Panama, documented this. First off, I want to say thanks to Kin for giving us the opportunity to see this firsthand and documenting it so clearly. You know, this man has a well-standing profile. He posts about normal things for years, and all of a sudden starts posting this footage. I don't have any reason to believe it's AI. What started to grow off of this meteor had life reactions to it, or has life reactions to it. It moves. It's not feeding off anything. It's not getting air. He's kept it in the dark for the most part.
It's getting air.
It doesn't seem to affect it. The crash site here is what's really got my attention. It glows phosphorescently or luminescently rather around the site, which is interesting because we find all this luminescent and phosphorescent stuff out of Mexico, and you know it's not something that's common in our world, so it's very interesting to see it in this fashion with no blacklight stimulation whatsoever. I would be curious to see what a blacklight would do in this area.
Yeah, it's like the most pixelated thing I've ever seen.
So as he continued, every day posting the progress of what this thing's doing, he's posted, dozens of videos. I think there's close to 20 videos of this.
I mean, it looks like there's some sort of weird life form growing on this thing, and I would not touch it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Follow this man to keep up with this. A lot of people reached out to him and asked for,
what if this is just some like botanist like
what the heck we're dealing with?
Prank.
The curiosity is very high on this. However, I feel this
just doing it for like
very high if that's the case. He thought
Instagram
it was
clicks.
And here we are, as it continues to grow and he continues to post it, they're starting to call it venom. It looks like a black something.
Yeah, this is where it starts to look pretty creepy.
Goo of some form, but it's got definite life form. It moves and it was just staying on the meteor and flexing its little tentacles. And
Did it
things of that
flatten out
nature
the
for
meteor?
many days. He started to take samples for scientists.
It looks like it's grown beyond the size of that rock,
Go in
obviously.
and start cutting these things and creating these samples in these jars, which seem to still have life form. They could be like clones. They may regrow or regenerate. The fact that it's not eating and provides such a life form is very interesting. You know, when the meteor came out, before anything was growing off of it, he had a plant on his desk, and it literally killed the leaf that it touched, and or that it was close to. And so he did multiple other tests and showed us that this thing just literally will eat the biological material and burn it up. So as you can see, this thing continues.
Which is
to grow,
why
and
you
this is
don't
after
touch
he's
it.
taken samples off of it. Quite bizarre. I really am speechless. However,
There's
because
later.
there's a lot of disclosure issues.
I don't know if he goes into it here. There's later, more recent stuff where it's like he puts it in a microwave and it like takes up the whole microwave,
Oh, there it
or in a
goes.
safe. Yeah.
What the hell?
You have been watching this thing?
I've just seen clips. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen like one whole video on the thing.
It's pretty crazy. So I don't know what the state of it is. If anyone listening has,
Is that the meteor right there still too?
maybe a different one. I don't know.
It looks like a potato.
Or they maybe removed it. That's weird. It's pretty weird. Pretty weird. Oh, he did Red Panda Koala did a
poll,
and it came up 78%, 78.9 says hoax. 21.1 says real. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to look into it more, see
Did
what
it
kind of
say
debunks are
debunked
out.
right there?
Yeah, there's a debunk right there. Here's an interesting debunk theory. That's just a photo. It's a whole Reddit post.
Oh, okay.
TLDR. What it actually is polydimethylsiloxane, PDMS, just silicone polymer, the same stuff used in medical implants, cookware, various industrial applications, a bit of hexane, which is pretty common organic solvent. The wiggling movement is caused by something called swelling-induced snapping motion, which happens when PDMS absorbs the hexane and swells.
I guess we'd have to
Different snapping movements that look organic and alive. The irregular timing makes it appear like it's breathing or reaching. Has a flesh-like texture and appearance, and the swelling, contracting mimics muscle movement, and black color adds to the alien aesthetic. When he's touching it with your fingers, you just know neither PDMS or hexane are particularly dangerous in small amounts, but hexane vapor should be avoided in enclosed spaces, hence probably the bowls he has over it at all times.
Yeah,
most of the time.
just to capture the gas.
Yeah. I'll post these for you guys. Yeah. Interesting.
Let us know what you guys find if you guys go on a deep dive into debunking this. Let us know what you find.
Yeah. It's the thing with all these topics we talk about, right? Is like there's a lot of BS artists out there, but it doesn't
Still
mean you can't have fun
fascinating. Yeah, it's
looking
still
into it and
fascinating,
learning
cool
about
stuff. I mean, I learned about the hexalane siloxane,
it.
you know.
Exactly.
Didn't know that
that's
existed.
a big learning experience itself. You're right.
Didn't even know that existed, and it wiggles and looks like it's moving, if that's true as well.
Right, right. Just from the processes of interacting with gases or whatever it said.
Cool. All right, well, we're overdue. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back, and we'll
Hop into some OASHPE.
OASHPE. Yeah, we'll learn about the author.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in a bit.
set it down, think it's not enough. Don't give in, never gas you up. Never lose sight, never lose the luck. Keep it all in, never spew my guts. Let the fire burn, let it burn me up. Burn me up. Burn me up. Take a step back, let me soak it in. If I fall off, let me go again. Keep the fire blaze with a lose or win, but never lose. Never listen to the doomsayers. Do no harm, prove 'em wrong, prove 'em wrong, prove 'em wrong.
Welcome back.
All right.
That was Stevie Nader. The song is called Grit off his album Grit. And yeah, that song's...
I like that song.
Yeah, it's super vibey to me.
Super vibes.
All right. So shall we hop into some OAHSPE?
Let's go.
All right. So
Where are we starting?
we're going to start talking about the guy who wrote it. So this guy, his name is John Ballou Newbrough.
Okay.
He lived from 1828 to 1891.
Okay.
Born June 5th, 1828 in a log cabin.
Of course, that's
Mohican Township, Ohio.
it's the only kind of cabins they had back then.
John was one of 7 children whose ancestry included Scottish, Swiss, and English. Like many pioneers, his family raised their own food, and his father was also the local schoolmaster. He also taught school during the winter of his last year at home. When he was a young boy, his spiritualist mother taught him about the communion of angels. And John first communed with angels in the peaceful outdoors of his family home under the great oaks and sycamores. John's father disapproved of spirit communion, but eventually became a spiritualist when, after his wife's passing, he received messages from her. So I should start by saying this is from, this is like a sort of intro to Newbrough from OAHSPEstandardedition.com. So these are people into the whole OAHSPE thing.
So this is their...
There is still like active like church
chapters
members,
of
I
this?
believe. Yeah. But yeah, spiritualism meant something different back then. Like it was a sort of like new agey thing for those times when like Christianity dominated the country, right?
Right.
Back in the 1800s. And so people like, think of people like, what's her name? Anyway, there was like a whole thing with like people doing like seances and stuff and like speaking to Helena Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky.
Yeah.
Like people like her and other figures like her were like sort of the new spiritual gurus of the time.
I see.
Who would like travel and like learn about all these ancient traditions and would essentially like they would do communication with spirits and stuff through seances, meditation practices, automatic writing.
Yeah.
They would study the like mystic traditions and magical arts of different civilizations and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this like spiritualism was like its own movement.
Right. Okay.
Back then, it was
In the 1800s.
right now it's more of a like blanket coverall term. It was more specific back then.
Okay.
I think is my understanding.
Yeah. Now, if you're considered spiritual, you're just somebody who's on a journey to discover more about the
like
human
you think
condition.
there's more
you
to
know?
the universe, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different connotation
Okay.
given back then. When he was 16, Newbrough attended high school in Cleveland, Ohio, boarding with the family of a dentist and working as his assistant. Learning the practice of dentistry, which he continued until he graduated medical college as a physician at 21. He then worked a short time under the supervision of his uncle, who was the head physician in an insane asylum.
Interesting. Okay.
When he was, Newbrough's adventurous spirit took him to the California gold fields in 1849, where he found gold. Shared part of his good fortune with his family back in Ohio, where his parents and younger siblings still lived. He also cared for the sick and fevered. During his time in the gold fields, John witnessed and deplored the injustice of bigotry, especially toward the Chinese, in the general grab for personal fortune. Here, he teamed up with Scottish-born John Turnbull, with whom he traveled to the Australian goldfields of Ballarat, Victoria, around 1851. After a couple more years living in a tent and adding considerably to his gold fortune, he sailed to Europe, India, China, Africa, and many far-off places before returning to the U.S.
Okay.
Newbrough began practicing as a physician in Cincinnati, but soon switched to dentistry, which he practiced successfully for many years. His concern for the needs of the suffering led Newbrough to develop inexpensive alternative rubber composition that made dentures more accessible to the poor. The profit-driven Dunlop Rubber Company attempted to court action to suppress the cheaper product, but failed. Newbrough also published a number of his own writings. His pre-OAHSPE publications included several social commentary novels and poetry. In 1860, Newbrough married Rachel Turnbull in her native Scotland. I believe that's one of the sisters of the guy he went to Australia with.
Right.
The Newbroughs settled at 128 West 24th Street in New York, where he also practiced dentistry until 1884. They had 3 children, but one died in infancy. Newbrough's ability to see and hear spirits and automatic writing talent, his interest and investigations into spiritualism and mediumship, his various philanthropic activities and social civic reform activism, as well as generous donations to the needy, became contentious issues in his marriage. By the time he adopted a vegan diet around 1870, he and his wife were living separate lives under one roof until 1884, when Newbrough departed, leaving the residence and his thriving dental practice to his separated wife. Newbrough was divorced in 1886 and married Frances van de Water, who was the mother of his youngest child, Justine. So his life changed. Newbrough became vegan following a momentous angelic visitation where he was asked if he could do work for the Creator, to which he agreed. The angels advised him that to prepare for such work would take 10 years, during which time he was to adopt a vegan diet, practice clean habits including daily bathing, introspection for self-improvement, and providing service to others regardless of profit. During that period, Newbrough published Spiritalis, Spirits Interviewed, in 1874. By 1876, Newbrough's health and spiritual condition had improved so much that his mediumship blossomed to the extent that angels no longer held his hands for automatic writing, but over his head, while a light from above fell on his hands, he could now see the angels' materialized hands and hear them speaking in his presence. Instructed by Spirit to buy a typewriter, Newbrough acquired the first Scholes and Glidden typewriter in 1878. So these things were new back then. He began to practice, but developed very little typing competency. During the following 2 years, the angels had Newbrough research various scientific subjects, such as astronomy, and write down the accepted logic of scholars in those particular fields. The angels questioned Newbrough on these topics systematically as he completed each subject. They informed him that there was little to no accurate information in all the subjects covered. Afterwards, they told him that the purpose of this exercise was to clear his mind of human fallacies so that the subject matter of the work he was to undertake would not be influenced by his own thoughts. It is also likely that during these 2 years, there were practice sessions on the typewriter with the angels taking control so as to develop a clear, steady connection in preparation for the transmission of OAHSPE. One early morning before sunrise, in the spring of 1880, Newbrough was sitting at his desk and the light struck both his hands. And at his desk, and the light struck both his hands, and they went for the typewriter and typed very vigorously for 15 minutes. The angels told him not to read what was written. This pattern continued every day before sunrise, 15 to 30-minute sessions for 50 weeks. Newbrough was instructed not to read any of the typed pages for the whole 50 weeks until the transmission was completed. Following an unpublished, incomplete edition in 1881, the Lant proof sheets, OAHSPE was published by the OAHSPE Publishing Association sometime in late September or early October 1882, more than a year after transmission, with 3,000 copies printed. So that's the origin of the book.
Is that incompletion? Like he finished the entire book?
In 50 weeks.
Wow. Damn.
Typing 15 to 30 minutes a day in these morning sessions where angels would...
use the light to have him type.
Which is interesting. So this goes to the idea of the phenomena of automatic writing, which essentially is a form of channeling, right?
Yeah,
so this
it's almost like Ouija and...
Yeah, it's like Ouija. It's not honestly much different. It's less extreme of a channeling feat than like what we have going with Bashar, right?
Right.
Like it's not a full body takeover. If anything, it's just like a partial body takeover for a limited window, right? So, but it's interesting that he had to sort of prepare himself for the years ahead of time with his diet and with his actions and with his thoughts and what he would learn and unlearn.
Yeah, it's like stripping down the man, you know. It's like these like the Eleusinian mystery school, you know, like that idea of like breaking down your entire perception of like yourself and humankind, and you know, you kind of like get rid of everything you've ever like owned,
right,
and just like focus on the work. And
his history itself is also pretty interesting, like the channeling from childhood, the gold mining to become wealthy, and then going into dentistry. It's like an interesting like life path he took to get where he was.
Yeah. Getting rich quick and then like having a career and
And then I found this other website as I was looking for more information about John Newbrough, and found this website. I'll show you guys here. This is apparently a painting he did. That was
around the same time.
Yeah, it was damaged, but it says reproduction of an undated painting by John Ballou Newbrough, lost in a flood while in storage in El Paso, Texas. The complex iconography of the painting, said to be 17 feet tall and 10 feet wide, depicted a central tenet of OAHSPE's theology, that Christianity was founded when a powerful spirit usurped and distorted the teachings of the Jewish prophet Joshua, or Jesus, sometimes referred to as the three worlds. The painting depicts the three realms outlined in OAHSPE. The work's lower third, where skeletons can be seen, depicts corpore. The false God Christ figure occupies the middle region called atmospheria, and the now faded upper portion represents etheria, the higher heavens. Thanks to Leslie Alexander for her assistance with the captions. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, apparently he like started his own commune, and this like kickstarted a religion.
Wow.
So I don't know much more about it. It would be really cool to like find someone who is like
knows a lot
a
about
member
this. Yeah.
of it, you know, to talk about it in more detail.
And maybe as we go on each episode, we'll do a little bit more of like a dive into the background a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe some of the early stories, if we can find some online.
Sure. So let's dig into the book. What do you think today?
Let's go.
So I want to read you guys just this whole like title page, because there's a lot of really like, this will give you an idea of how weird the book is. OAHSPE, the words of Jehovah. So the way they spell it is Jehovih, which is kind of distinct from how I've seen it spelled in other contexts. So it's Jehovah is like kind of how you might pronounce it. I'll probably say Jehovah. Anyway, the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. That's the subtitle. A sacred history of the dominions of the higher and lower heavens on earth for the past 24,000 years. Being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean, commonly called the flood or deluge, to the Cosmon era. Also a brief history of the preceding 55,000 years. Together with, so this is sort of editing together this edition, together with a synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe and creation of planets, the creation of man, the unseen worlds, the labor and glory of gods and goddesses in the Etherean heavens.
Whoa.
With the new commandments of Jehovah to man and the present day, with revelations from the second resurrection formed in words in the 33rd year of the Cosmon era. The Eloist edition, Duxbury, Massachusetts, December 2016. So, in some of my reading on this, apparently he was also a really big Freemason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and pretty high up in the order. So I wonder,
this might be more
what this has to do with
symbolism and hiding stuff in plain sight to pass down on generation to generation.
Right. So it's got this crazy table of contents. There's the voice of man, the book of Jehovah, the book of Sethantes, books of lords. You get into Like there's like a book of Thor in here, a book of Apollo, a book of Osiris.
Nice.
Yeah, really interesting chapter titles. And then there's plates, which are artworks that were done by him as well.
Oh, wow.
The other thing I want to point out is...
I have many talents.
Yeah. Is that these, like the sort of layout here. So let me see if I can show this. There's like a top section of the book, and there's like a divider, and then there's a bottom section. And so it gets into a later part of the book where it just starts going through these like historical eras, and it'll essentially give you two versions of the history of that era. And so the top version, the top division of the book is the history of the era from like the universal perspective, or like the perspective of the people running Earth. And then there's like the bottom section, which is more of a perspective on Earth of what's happening.
That's cool. So you actually have the side by side as like to see how both perspectives are being changing throughout.
And apparently that's actually how it was written too, with the division of the top and bottom as part of the automatic writing.
Damn, that's crazy.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what in my like reading about it.
That's
and
intense.
Stuff.
Imagine. That's like a cool way of doing things though too. Like you have like multiple perspectives within the same book, and you just divide them.
But if you're like in the middle of a sentence here where you go to the top of the next page, you have to go back to wherever you were at the, and then, you're splitting up your thought process if you're at, like, because this is a typewriter. It's not like a computer where you can copy and paste, insert. Like, and you're on a typewriter, every stroke is permanent. So writing the top half, then the bottom half as a separate thing, and then continuing the top half from the previous page, and then continuing the bottom half from the previous page. It's a weird way to write.
It is. And almost, if it's true that that's how it was done, that makes it more credible to be on automatic writing and not like a human level like ability.
So I don't know if that's like members of the religion hyping it up or whatever. I don't know much about the truth. Or maybe there was just
maybe there was just super interesting that they like coincided and they like put them together this way.
Right.
Either way, the configuration of this is cool.
Yeah.
I like you could read a whole passage and be like, I wonder what the other perspective would be of that same scenario or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool.
Maybe make a movie about it now.
For sure.
Two timelines.
That would be interesting. Let's see. We're ready for a break. So we gave our John Newbrough intro, and then when we come back, we'll hop into the preface and introduction, and then maybe get into this the version of Genesis, basically, of this. So
all right, y'all. We'll see y'all in a minute or two.
It's 3:15 in each other's company. We have our tendencies to be awake rather than sleeping. We stare into the land of imagination, transfixed by man's creation, and we're always too awake to be asleep, because it's just one of our loves, a foolish love. Well, people say imagination is only for the young, but it's still one of our loves, a foolish loves. Well, you can say that's not much to be proud of, but we're gonna be more proud of fall 13,000 feet just because we love the feeling of smiling. We'll call us weird, hell yeah we are. Our quick noises and fast lip poisons, we would all die for our aspirations. We are all one of our own creation. We are all one of each other's love, a foolish love. Simple minds is the most we could ever ask of. Our love, a simple love. Well, I am who I am because of my friends and their ooh and their simple love.
Another absolute banger by TJ.
Yeah, that song's so nice.
Nice jammy one.
And let's get back to our foolish loves of exploring crazy topics.
Some crazy, cool, interesting religions.
Yeah. All right, so this is the preface, and I'm pretty sure this is written as part of this like modern print, or by like the Church of OAHSPE or whatever they're called, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, it's a good intro. Preface. Is OAHSPE true? Does it have a message of value? Whether you are a theist, mystic, deist, agnostic, atheist, or anything in between, if you believe nothing else, you at least must believe that you are blessed with intelligence and the ability to reason. Granting at least that, then let no one else do your thinking for you. Do not let anyone else's opinion of whether OAHSPE is true or not influence your judgment. Do not let other people, regardless of their credentials, preempt your freedom to think and decide for yourself. Do yourself the favor of reading the book from beginning to end in its entirety, and without skipping from place to place, which can cause misunderstandings. Then, if it speaks truth to your inner being, if it reinforces your values of love and service to others, if it offers an expansive view of the universe that is refreshingly uplifting and portrays a destiny set in motion by our Creator that, to your mind, is more logical, rational, and fair than what you have been exposed to in the past, then embrace it as a guide and a foundation for your own future growth. If you find that it does not speak to your condition, then all you have lost is some time well spent in the search for truth. We assure you that in no way will you be personally diminished by your efforts. For within all experience can be found the seeds of growth. The quest for knowledge should be an unending endeavor.
Yeah. Good disclaimer.
Right. What you have before you is the second edition of OAHSPE. There were two. The first was published in 1882, and the second, slightly re-edited version in 1891. We have compared both editions word for word, and we offer our humble assurance that the differences between the two are negligible and in no way alter the overall message or narration of the text. While there is some debate as to how the editing for the second edition was conducted, we find the point to be inconsequential since most changes relate to typographical errors, grammar, or aesthetic considerations that are, in the final analysis, of little consequence. These minor differences, which are annotated throughout the book in the footnotes, should be no cause for concern because the big picture is all that matters. OAHSPE, even in its own words, was never intended to be a perfect book, to be quoted chapter and verse as a substitute for personal discernment, or with a stroke of finality to establish a sect, a dictate, or a creed. If you are seeking such a book, you have come to the wrong place. OAHSPE reaffirms the truth that predated all religions, sects, or creeds. OAHSPE directs us towards the all light, the inner light, the I am, that one source within for our ultimate guidance. OAHSPE is offered as a textbook of sorts, one guiding light to help us on that path. While the physical distance between oneself and one's inner soul is very short, yet the journey we need follow to reach that inner source within our souls is a very long one. Listen for that voice within your own being for the ultimate guidance, rather than seeking it within the covers of this or any other book. Without apology, that is the overriding message offered by this most unusual book, The Eloists, Inc., 2016.
Eloists. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Good disclaimer there for the information and whether it resonates with you or...
Well, and it's also saying that...
Don't take this as chapter and verse and, cite it as some sort of, mantra.
Right, and that the ultimate truth is to be found within you and your search.
Your personal
inner
experience.
search, right.
Yeah.
Cool. Introduction.
Okay.
Looks like we have a quote here. How could I have believed anything less of the kind Father of life? His wise omnipotence could only do what was best and tenderest from the very constitution of his nature of divine love. How could I doubt in God what I, in my little wisdom, should have planned to meet human needs? DeVoe, Walter DeVoe, You Will Not Die, 1907. The title of the book, OAHSPE, means literally sky, earth, and spirit. O for sky, Ah for earth, and SPE for spirit. The book is a product of automatic writing, which occurred through the hands of a medium, Dr. John Ballou Newbrough, over the course of 1 year, 1881, in New York City. The book stated that it was written by an overshadowing of angelic beings who are not a separate order in creation, but are actually our elder brothers and sisters. Once mortals like us, but now high raised in wisdom through countless years of growth and experience.
Enlightened.
Yeah. They stated that OAHSPE is not a perfect book, nor is it the alpha and omega of knowledge. Rather, it is like a traveler's guide to greater spiritual growth and understanding. Its purpose is to give us an insight while yet in mortality of what the world of spirit is really like and what the general history of the world has been. As a result, it gives us greater clarity regarding our true purpose and destiny as the immortal, eventually angelic souls that we are. New students of OAHSPE may ask, why would such a book be written at all? Why in 1881 and not some other year? Why through an unknown personality like John Newbrough and not through someone more famous? Why in so questionable a form as automatic writing, rather than appearing in a burst of light already completed on a tablet of gold and exhibited for all to see? First of all, OAHSPE states that we have entered a new era, one in which we will eventually see the maturity of humanity. It explains that this is part of the natural evolution of any inhabited planet. OAHSPE indicates that inhabited planets are a frequent occurrence throughout our vast universe, which is a perfectly reasonable idea to accept considering the vastness of infinity. What are the odds of there being more than one planet with life if there are an infinite number of planets to choose from? We entered this new era not long before this book was written. with efforts at enlightenment, such as OAHSPE, are standard operating procedures at those times. Revelations are divinely inspired in more than one form, in more than one place, in varying shapes and styles, so that the greatest number of people can be reached according to their varied abilities and accept and understand. So it's saying that this is not the only guide to spiritual enlightenment, that whatever that truth is finds multiple ways to reach us, because we all have different abilities to understand, and we're at different places in our lives and whatnot, right?
Right. Fine print. Got to read the fine print.
I got to keep my finger on here. These inspirational efforts have been and will continue to be applied to the full spectrum of knowledge, from the purely spiritual, like OAHSPE, to inspired hard science like E = mc squared. The eventual result will be a mature balance between both spiritual and material knowledge throughout all of humanity, but evolving within an era extending thousands of years, a blink of an eye to those who are beyond mortality. The transmission of OAHSPE by automatic writing should not be a surprise. Spirit communion is normal, natural, and not as difficult as some people are led to believe. It actually occurs much more frequently than most people can consciously realize, being typically pretermitted. I've never seen this word, pretermitted.
Predeterminate?
No, there's no D. Pretermitted. Pretermitted.
Okay. Premeditated?
No. It's like,
well, they did say there were going to be typos and stuff. So.
Huh.
Guess we need the context. I don't know.
I want to know this word now. One sec.
Pretermitted.
Pretermitted. Pretermitted. It's like a predetermined, yeah. Based on context, the only word that keeps popping up is pretermitted error.
Yeah, maybe just a different word for a different, same meaning, different word.
Yeah. Cool word. Got to add that to the old vocabulary.
Pretermitted.
Being typical, so let's start that sentence. It actually occurs much more frequently than most people consciously realize, being typically pretermitted as vague imaginings. So maybe experienced? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
As vague imaginings, intuitive impressions, or even fortuitous premonitions.
Yeah, it's like premonitions, or like being able to see the future in some way.
It is only labeled as evil by those who lack understanding, or by those who believe that they can only maintain their misguided agenda by suppressing the honest investigation and keeping us ignorant of the true state of affairs. Knowing their agenda will not stand up to logic and intelligent inquiry, they have learned that inducing fear can serve their interests. Fear and ignorance have long been established as interrelated in nature. It is a sobering realization for the duplicitous that most people, if allowed the unfettered freedom to think for themselves, will eventually arrive at a place closer to the truth. Early in this new era, many people with mediumistic abilities were raised, guided, and groomed by the angels who have us in their care. It just happened that John Newbrough was the right person in the right place at the right time, the one who had the best ability and development at the time the angelic overshadowing was ready to carry out this effort in education. Automatic writing was apparently the most efficient way to transmit information required at this place and time. In this case, the writing was accomplished through the means of a typewriter, but the principle remains the same. Through natural development and training, an individual becomes able to enter a passive meditative state that allows an intelligence other than one's own to take control of the body's mechanical functions temporarily and write under that control. This is a form of mediumship that has been used countless times throughout history, whether by type, pencil, brush, or by hand directly on tablets of sand. John Newbrough explained in his own words how OAHSPE was written in a letter he sent to a magazine, The Banner of Light in Boston, reprinted at the end of the introduction. So, yeah, we're just talking about mediumship and automatic writing. And I find that just to be an interesting topic in general, because I still just like can't form a final opinion, and I don't necessarily want to, about mediumship, because I think it's probably like most other things where it just really depends on the person.
Yeah.
I think you have to take it in a case-by-case basis, like you would with UFO experiences or with abduction experiences or with, people's stories in general. Some people...
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can see everybody being capable of certain things, but some people may be more sensitive to the phenomena, and there are a lot of people who are willing to lie or create stories in order to get that attention that they see people who are...
Right.
So there are the ones that are more authentic and real, seemingly, and then the ones who are like... maybe not clearly fake, but a lot of them are kind of clearly hoax and fake and like grifters and,
And so if you find yourself as like a naturalist, materialist, reductionist, then your starting point is just going to be disbelieved by just general fact. I'm just going to disbelieve something like this because I have no reason to believe it, right?
Yeah.
No evidence that it's true. And then on the other side, there's going to be some people who just believe everything like this that they hear. And I don't think that's healthy either, because there are those people who want to take advantage, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it takes a little discernment, and I think it takes meditation in your own mind and your own consciousness to feel for what you think is the truth of the matter in any given case. And also to be ready to be wrong and change your mind.
Well, yeah, allow yourself the vulnerability of exposing like your insecurities of like life and existence and things, but then like, but still be able to like anchor yourself in like your own, what you want.
Yeah.
Like being able to like identify you in it all.
Yeah. Personally, I lean pretty heavy on the likelihood that there is more than the physical to this life, and so that there is some sort of spiritual reality. And if so, that opens up the gateway to the ways in which spirit and physical entities can interact, right?
Yeah.
And so I do see some credence in this type of thing, and also with like things like the telepathy tapes and like someone like
Chris Bledsoe,
and
like
Bledsoe,
the UAP stuff,
or Bashar or whatever.
Yep.
Like I don't necessarily believe it all, but like it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these things are true.
Yeah, right? Once you start to allow yourself to more realistically see the world in such a way as to like accept certain things, but then you see the pattern as to like how it could be real,
right?
And
this form of mediumship, this automatic writing, seems pretty like within reason of what could happen in like a meditative state to allow yourself to essentially give over the controls.
Well, yeah, and we've heard stories from like a lot of famous writers in general who say that something comes over them, or they do
musicians,
it they have a very specific way of doing things in order to like get into some sort of way of thinking to allow the writing to come.
Yeah.
It's like opening opening the floodgate to some sort of like information highway.
Or like the Greeks
that you're
talking
tuning
about,
to your specific need.
Or like it reminds me of like the Greeks talking about like how to like give yourself over to the muse and whatnot, right?
Yep. The flow state, tapping into that creative like flow of information coming through, and you have a specific tuning to it, whether it be music or poetry or novels or
and to
whatever
to have the experience that it isn't coming from you is a common experience.
Yeah, where it feels like it's not coming from you, but it could be very well coming from you. It's
or a
more
deeper
of
part of you,
like
or something.
that's where we are in the antenna of our spirit.
The connection topic we talked about earlier.
Our creation is the purpose. It's less about what you are experiencing as you're the channel of your higher self to the physical world. So whatever you create and whatever you experience, that's the reality, not the you that you think you are.
Right.
You're the medium.
Right. That's a good way to put it. We are all mediums, but most of us are just mediums for our own higher self.
Yeah.
Some people can allow themselves to be mediums for other entities as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Death, as we call it, is not the end of our existence, but rather the beginning of the real life for which we were created. As indestructible spiritual beings, sound a lot like Errol there.
Yeah.
We are all immortal souls destined for growth far above and beyond the limited experiences we have while residing for a brief time on earth. On first crossing the veil between mortality and the life in spirit, our friends and relatives who have just passed on are not as far away as some of us imagine, for the transformation of death is more of a change in dimension than distance. Consequently, one does not have to wait long for loving assistance from friends and family when first passing into spirit life. That proximity is what also allows communication between our realm and theirs to occur when appropriate preparations are provided. This is because all of us, whether spirit or mortal, dwell in the same sea of mind, the all mind. And it is through that same all-pervading medium that we are all forever inextricably linked together in thought. The only catch is that the sudden transformation at death does not instill in us any sudden injection of wisdom, a relative quality that grows only by ongoing experience through the infinite eons before us. At first, we are at best not very different from than we were in mortality. When we leave this plane with very much the same intelligence and understanding we had as mortals, for that reason, communication from the realm of the spirit are not necessarily true or accurate. We should not accept information as unconditionally true just because it came from the spirit plane, and any more than we accept information we receive now just because we read it in the newspapers. We should always subject information we receive to the test of our own inspired intelligence and reason, or else we are no better than the puppets or automatons. OAHSPE does not purport, however, to have been written by angels who are far beyond us in life experience. Because of their long sojourn in the realm of spirit, which is our true destiny as well, they are able to give us insights that are much more all-encompassing in scope and comprehension than what could be ascertained from anyone with limited experience. One must also understand that Dr. Newbrough was not perfect. He was neither a prophet nor a saint. He was merely a well-developed medium who became the most convenient and suitable tool on the hands of the angelic overshadowing when they were ready to accomplish this task of transmitting OAHSPE. The value is in the content of the book and not in who wrote it. If it had fallen from the sky in a flash of light, its value as a source of information would not have been improved by that event if the message it contained had been lacking in relevance or truth. There have been other books written under inspiration both before and after OAHSPE was published. Many of those books included similar information, and one should expect this to occur. OAHSPE is truly unique, however, in its scope and comprehensive overview of the subject.
What was interesting there was talking about how the person that they chose was not significant in any way, but that they don't think that the message would have had any more of an impact had it been like a gold book being struck down from the heavens,
sky, right?
Because in my opinion, sure, maybe the first few people who read it, but going down, it's not any more of a significant event than people having a hard time believing the Bible stories.
Right, because people are going to have just as much of a hard time believing it, even if the story is that it came down from the heavens. Because once you're
generations removed,
once you're outside of firsthand knowledge, then all of a sudden it's just a story, regardless of the origin.
You just have to have faith that the person who's telling it is honest.
Or you just have to take in the story and allow yourself and your reason and your life experience to be the judge.
Yeah.
Several years after the publishing of OAHSPE, Dr. Newbrough founded a utopian community for raising orphan children based on the model given in the Book of Shalom, which appears near the end of OAHSPE. Unfortunately, the ambitious project was an example of what an incredible degree of willpower and an incredible amount of money could accomplish when the quality of people needed to make such an undertaking a success was sadly lacking. The Book of Shalom was meant to be a parable, an allegory, a lesson in the form of a story, used to illustrate what the society of the future will be like when humanity has progressed to a point in the new era where it will be able to live in a higher way. So Newbrough tried to start a community that was doing that now, back then, right?
Okay.
Rather than taking it as a parable for what humanity can achieve.
He took it
that sounds like this. Whoever's writing this introduction is editorializing what Newbrough did with the rest of his life. But I'm sure Newbrough thought that's exactly what he should do based on the information. But this transformation will not be sudden, nor will it occur through the imposition of a proverbial utopia. Rather, the implication is that this societal shift will first develop from a new social structure that functions in parallel with the old, but which will gradually displace the old by attrition, not revolution. This will be a world in which a society governed by rigid laws and regulations, self-serving majorities, and special interests will be gradually supplanted by an alternate society governed by sincere selflessness and compassion, with a commonly held reverence for our Creator by conviction and choice, not by force. The culmination will be a society that universally recognizes and nurtures that of God in everyone, and intuitively structures its community and interpersonal relationships accordingly. As difficult as it may be to comprehend, all wars and terrorism will have ceased. Unfortunately, as a society, we are not much closer to that state of mind now than we were more than a century ago when Newbrough's Shalom was attempted. But that does not mean that such harmonious, selfless order of society will never come to pass. In accordance to OAHSPE, just the first settlement arc of this era, called Cosmon, spans approximately 3,000 years.
Oh, so this era of like building the following and stuff is like a 3,000-year period?
It's not even really saying a following, but more it's saying that this is a sort of like learning and enlightenment era that we're entering.
I see.
And that era is a 3,000-year long era. So this is not going to be something that happens overnight per se.
And they're saying it just started?
Yeah, like based in Newbrough's time, somewhere maybe 100 years into a 3,000-year process.
Right.
Where are we at? I think we're ready for a break.
All right, yeah, let's take a break and then we'll, do you want to skip ahead or do you want to keep reading this?
Yeah, maybe we skip ahead and let's go into the beginning.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, let's take a break here and we'll see you guys on the other side.
All right.
Yeah, soul food, let's go. And born. Forwards on the beat. Up rock audio. LTC. Yo, I hit you with that funky soulful. Hungry but I'm old school. Spitfire but so cool. Wisdom for your mind. Representing soul food. Humble but I'm boastful. Sickening with the vocals. Gifted with the rhymes. Sometimes I feel like I don't really know you, but I can't break loose. She's anywhere I go to. She's always on my mind, so she's everywhere I roll through. Food for my soul. She's my chicken with some tofu. I hope you get this message that I wrote you, cause ever since we ended it, see, no one has come close to. And this is for the past. A toast for what used to be, for what we had when it was just you and me. So cold together, we were so close together, we were cooler than the breeze. Yeah, now she's gone away, and I never thought I'd see the day. Hey, so close together, we were so cold together, we were cooler than the breeze. Yeah, now she's gone away. Yeah, so I'm moving on. Nothing lasts forever, guess we could get back together. Doesn't really hurt to try, but it never works the second time. Sequels never evil, people change, we can never be the same. I realize, see the sky's a wonder, if I ever get the chance to fly. Spread my wings, live my dreams before I die. I pray to God to save my soul, save me from this pain I hold inside. See, I know I'm in your heart, but there's still a hole in mine. And I know when time heals, and I know one day I will let someone in, a lover, friend, maybe even love again. But in the meantime, in between rhymes, beats, and life, I'm hoping to inspire you so you can see the light shining. So close together, we were so cold together, we were cooler than the breeze. Now she's gone away, see, I never thought I'd see the day. Hey, so close together, we were so cold together, we were cooler than the breeze. Now you're gone away. Say no if I ask you if you love me, cause I know you do, you must be lying. Girl, I know you trust me. If I ask you if I love you, cause you know that I adore you, to the point where I ignore you, cause I'm scared I'll scare you off if I really bear it all. Would you love me even more, would you even care at all? And don't you say no if I ask you if you care. And cause I know that you'd be there, since Carmen used to love her, now we've become a pair. And this crush turned to lust into a love affair. And don't you ever say no, no, don't ever say no. You say that you don't love me and you're lying if you say so. So close together, we were so cold together, we was cooler than the breeze. And now she's gone away and I just stay. Yeah. So close together, we were so cold together, we were cooler than the breeze. And now she's gone away, see, I never thought I'd see the day, never thought I'd see the day. Hey.
was Soul Food Used to Be. And let's head into OAHSPE.
Let's go.
All right. So this is the beginning of the actual channeled portion. After the creation of man, the Creator Jehovah said unto him, Thou shalt know thou art the work of my hand. I have given thee capacity for knowledge, power, and dominion. This was the first era. But man was helpless. He understood not the voice of the Almighty, neither stood he upright. And Jehovah called his angels, who were older than the earth, and he said unto them, Go ye, raise man upright, and teach him to understand. And the angels of heaven descended to the earth and raised man upright. And man wandered about on the earth. This was the second era.
So we were animals before?
Yeah, basically. Jehovah said to the angels that were with man, Behold, man hath multiplied on earth. Bring ye them together. Teach them to dwell in cities and nations. So, yeah, this is all like through
Genesis and stuff.
Yeah, like through
much more streamlined
guidance. Yeah. And the angels of Jehovah taught the peoples of the earth to dwell together in cities and nations. This was the third era. And in that same time, the beast, self, in quotes, rose up before man and spake to him, saying, Possess thou whatever thou wilt, for all things are thine and are good for thee. And in the same, and man obeyed the beast, and war came into the world. This was the fourth era. So it was like the fall, I guess.
Yeah.
Equivalent. And man was sick at heart, and he called out to the beast, saying, Thou saidst, Possess thyself of all things, for they are good for thee. Now behold, war and death have encompassed me about on all sides. I pray thee, therefore, teach me peace. But the beast said, Think not I am come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. I come to set man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother. Whatsoever thou findest to eat, let it be fish or flesh, eat thou thereof, taking no thought of tomorrow.
It's cannibalism.
Right? And man ate fish and flesh, becoming carnivorous, and darkness came upon him. Neither yet heard he the voice of Jehovah, nor believed in him. This was the fifth era.
So this is when man walked away from God.
Right. Stopped believing in him.
Yeah.
Stopped talking to him. And the beast divided itself into 4 great heads and possessed the earth about. And man fell down and worshipped them.
The false gods.
Yeah. And the names of the heads of the beast were Brahmin, Buddhist, Christian, and Mohammedan. So saying the great religions are different heads of the beast. And they divided the earth and appointed it between themselves, choosing soldiers and standing armies for the maintenance of their earthly aggrandizement. And go ahead.
I was just saying, it reminds me of like the Crusade era and like
Yeah.
where all these like holy wars are going on.
Right.
Religious wars.
Yeah. And the Brahmins had 7 million soldiers, the Buddhists 20 million, the Christians 7 million, and the Mohammedans, 2 million. whose trade was killing man, and man in service of the beast gave 1/6 of his life and his labor to war and standing armies, and 1/3 of his life he gave to dissipation and drunkenness. This was the 6th era.
It's the Middle Ages.
Jehovah called to man to desist from evil, but man heard him not. For the cunning of the beast had changed man's flesh, so that his soul was hid as if in a cloud, and he loved sin. Jehovah called unto his angels in heaven, saying, Go ye down to the earth once more to man, whom I created to inhabit the earth and enjoy it. And say ye to man, Thus saith Jehovah, Behold, the 7th era is at hand. Thy Creator commandeth thy change from a carnivorous man of contention to an herbivorous man of peace. The 4 heads of the beast shall be put away, and war shall be no more on the earth. Thy armies shall be disbanded, and from this time forth whatsoever desireth not to war, or whosoever desireth not to war, thou shalt not impress, for it is the commandment of thy Creator. Neither shalt thou have any God, nor Lord, nor Savior, but thy Creator Jehovah. Him only shalt thou worship henceforth forever. I am sufficient unto mine own creations. And to as many as separate themselves from the dominion of the beast, making these covenants unto me, have I given the foundation of my kingdom on earth. And all such shall be my chosen. By their covenants and by their work shall they be known henceforth on earth as mine, and shall be called faithists. But to as many as will not make these covenants have I given the numbers of the beast, and they shall be called Uzians. 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 Probably Uzians. Uzians, signifying destroyers. And these shall be henceforth the 2 kinds of people on earth, faithists and Uzians. And the angels of heaven descended to the earth to man and appeared before him face to face, hundreds of thousands of them, speaking as man speaketh, and writing as man writeth, teaching these things of Jehovah and his works. And in the 33rd year thereof, the ambassadors of the angel hosts of heaven prepared and revealed unto man thy name, or in the name of Jehovah, his heavenly kingdoms, and have thus herein made known the plan of his delightful creations for the resurrection of the peoples of the earth. Not infallible is this book, OAHSPE, but to teach mortals how to attain to hear the Creator's voice, and to see his heavens in full consciousness while still living on earth, and to know of a truth the place and condition awaiting them after death. Neither are nor were the revelations within this OAHSPE wholly new to mortals. The same things have been revealed at the same time unto many who live at remote distances from one another, but who were not in correspondence until afterwards. Because this light is thus comprehensive, embracing corporeal and spiritual beings, it is called the beginning of the Cosman era. And because it relates to earth, sky, and spirit, it is called OAHSPE. So that's the first.
The Genesis
book.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to dig into this.
Yeah.
see where it takes us and how it connects to some of these other theories. And like, I'm just not one to like go wholehearted and like believe one thing of like,
Totally.
I like to take pieces of all the different things I learn and make it and like, you know, bring it into my life if it so resonates with me, right?
Right.
But I can see this like having a lot of like correlations to like ancient history and like
Dude, once we get
ancient religions and like all the different stuff, UFOs probably at some point, and, you know.
Once we get far enough into it, you will see why I keep bringing this up like every other show that we're talking about crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, OAHSPE.
You've read this whole thing?
No. I've probably read maybe a third, maybe a quarter.
Okay.
Like I got a pretty decent chunk in. I kind of stopped like right in the middle of this like very repetitive,
that's what you were saying
dry
before.
Historical part.
Yeah,
where it's just like going through the eras and whether or not novel things were happening or whether or not it was repetitive. It would just go and go and go. So like at a certain point, it got a little like, I don't know, I lost my interest, but like I never got into past that point where I think it's probably going to get really interesting again.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it'll be a fun one to dive into every once in a while and learn some more about it and intertwine it with our other topics.
And I'm going to have to pick it up again and keep reading ahead because once we get into those like repetitive sections, I don't necessarily want to like have podcast after podcast of repetitive things.
Yeah, I'm sure there's places where we can skip ahead and maybe just summarize some books.
So even if it told us not to in the intro, this book is free to download for anyone. I'll leave some links.
Yeah.
So
maybe you can read
if you want to go fill in the details I'm skipping over later on, like they're there for you. So,
or if you want to like, hey guys, I've been reading this OAHSPE book and I want to hear another episode on this chapter or this book or whatever.
Yeah. If you want to point out like a favorite part of it that you think we should pay some detailed attention to.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we can get through this next thing. It's only 2 pages here. So, O Jehovah, what am I that... So this is called The Voice of Man. This is the next book of it. O Jehovah, what am I that I should supplicate thee? Know I mine own weakness, or understand I the way of my thoughts? Thou hast placed before me a most wonderful creations. They impress me, and my senses rise up in remembrance of the Almighty. Wherein I have invented one thought, but by looking upon thy works. How can I otherwise than remember my Creator? And out of thy creations, O Jehovah, find rich food for meditation all the days of my life. Yeah, this is an interesting... sort of like expression. Seems to be like from the character of mankind, right? But I kind of know this feeling of like you see things and you're like, well, this is like the work of God, like, you know, like
something just so like ridiculously beautiful and like symmetrical, or you know, something like that.
Or even just like a simple like moment of tenderness between family members or a child or whatever, right?
Like the most beautiful aspects of existence that you could think of, whatever that might be.
Right. And yet, though I have appropriated the earth unto myself, I am not happy nor perfect withal. Misery and crime and selfishness are upon my people. What is my weakness that I cannot overcome it? Or what is my strength that I succumb to the desires of the earth? I build up my belief and courage in thee, but ere I know the way of my weakness, I stumble and fall. Am I made that I should be forever a reproof to myself and a censure to my own behavior? How shall I say to this man or that, be thou pure and holy, O man, Are not my flesh and blood proof that man cannot be without sin? Oh, this corruptible self, this tendency to fall from the right way, thou, O my Creator, hast proven before my senses every day of my life that thou alone art mighty in purity and truth. Oh, that I had a starting point wherefrom to estimate thy wonderful decrees, or could find a road in which I should never stumble. But yet, O Jehovah, I will not complain because of the way of thy works. Thou hast invented a limit to my understanding, whereby I am reminded of thee to call upon thy name. I perceive my own vanity, that whereas were knowledge mine, I should become less beholding unto thee. What am I, O Jehovah, without thee? Or wherein shall I find the glory of thy creations but the light of thy countenance? Thou broughtest me forth out of sin and darkness and clothed me in light. I behold the smallness of myself in thy great works. Thou hast bound me to travel on the earth, to sojourn with beasts and all manner of creeping things, nor given me one attribute wherein I can boast over them, save in the power of destruction. The high firmament placed thou above me, the stars and moon and sun. I know thou hast been thither, but I am bound down in a little corner of thy works. I have not power to rise up to thy distant places, nor to know thy extended heavens.
Yeah, that's interesting. Read that, like that couple
last
sentences before that.
Thou hast bound me to travel on the earth, to sojourn with beasts and all manner of creeping things, nor given me one attribute wherein I can boast over them, save in the power of destruction. The high firmament place thou above me, the stars, moon, and sun. I know thou hast been thither, but I am not bound down in a corner of thy works. I have not power to rise up to thy distant places, nor to know thy extended heavens.
Yeah, it mentions the firmament there.
Yeah.
And and how you're kind of like bound down to this corner of existence. I don't know, that's kind of an interesting parallel.
Yeah, it feels like gravitational almost. Like, yeah, it's interesting to say this. Like, I see the Creator in all these things, and I like see the evidence of it everywhere, and I see all these beasts that you've created. And am I really any better than them, other than in my ability to like destroy things? Like, I can look up and I can see the wonders of the universe and the stars and the galaxies, but like I'm stuck here.
And my only ability.
I can't even take in your full creation, but from a distance, you know?
Nor have in their perception been given dominion over anything less of it.
Right,
you know, which is interesting. So it's kind of like a complaining, like a
it's
where
like
am I?
I see how great you are, but like,
what am I here for? What's the purpose? What am I supposed to contribute?
I feel insignificant in the shadow of like everything.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Nay, I have not power to shape my own size and stature, but all things take form and dimension, whether I will or no. In thine own way are built the walls of the world. By their magnitude I am confounded. By the majesty of thy hand appalled. Why have I vainly set up myself as the highest of thy works? My failures are worse than any other living creature under the sun. I cannot build my house in perfection like a bird's. My ingenuity cannot fashion a spider's net. I cannot sail up in the air like a bird, nor live in the water like a fish, nor dwell in harmony like the bee. The half of my offspring die in infancy. The multitude of my household are quarrelers, fighters, drunkards, and beggars. The best of my sons and daughters are less faithful than a dog. I go forth to war to slay my brother, even whilst thy wide earth hath room for all. Yea, I accurse the earth with starvation and sin and untimely death. Oh, that I could school myself to boast not of my greatness, that I should be forever ashamed in thy sight, Jehovah.
Yeah. It's like a pleading.
It was like a humble admission of like all of your shortcomings
As a human.
like as humanity, really.
Yeah.
Unto thee I will acknowledge my iniquities. I can hide nothing from the eye of my Creator. Hear me then, O Father. I took up arms against my brother. With great armies I encompassed him about to despoil him. His widows and orphans I multiplied by the stroke of my sword. The cry of anguish that came out of their mouths I answered by destruction of my brother's harvests. To my captains and generals who showed great skill in killing, I built monuments in stone and iron. Yea, I inscribed them from top to bottom with their bloody victories. And in my vanity, I called out to the young, saying, Behold the glory of great men. These great monuments I have built to them. And the youth of my household were whetted with ambition for spoil. The example of my hand made them train themselves for warfare. To my colonels and generals, I gave badges of gold, badges of gold. I called to the damsels, saying, Come, a great honor I give you. Ye shall dance with the officers of death. And they tripped up on tiptoe, elated by the honey of my words. O Jehovah, how have I not covered up my wickedness? How have I failed to make the flow of my brother's blood and the relish of Satan? To my destroying hosts have I given great honor and glory. In the pretense of enforcing peace, I hewed my way in flesh and blood. I made great pretensions in a kingdom. I called out to my people, saying, We must have a kingdom. I showed them no reason for it, but I bade them take up arms and follow me for patriotism's sake. And yet, what was patriotism? Behold, I made it as a something greater than thee and thy commandment, thou shalt not kill.
Yeah, it almost sounds like the beginnings of like the rebellion against the ideas of the, I don't know, just because like,
yeah, it's like a rebellion against this like violent materialism.
Yeah. But also the rebellion that the materialism is to the faith,
to God, to the creation, to the like love and peace or whatever. Yeah.
So it's like a dual, like it's like the realization that we are capable of this because of the fact that we have agency, but we must rebel against that in order to maintain the balance.
To me, this is like general humanity speaking, but it almost comes from like the position of a king, but also it could be anyone because we all do this, right? Like all like prop up in the like stories of civilization that allow us to just like turn the other direction and ignore the violence happening around us and ignore the fact that like we don't put up a fight to stop our taxes going to fund bombs blowing up people on the other side of the world, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all a little bit of a part of this like violent time.
There is an understanding there, whether you are, you know, independently aware of it or not.
Right.
There is a complicity to the state actings and the individual supporting it.
Mm-hmm.
The silence.
And it's almost like the state is designed to get that sort of like
response out of you.
Yeah, that sort of like uncaring, like annoyance to like want to get away. Like, fine, take my money, just leave me alone.
Ignore.
Fine, go kill people with my resources I'm gathering. Just leave me alone, right? Like we
hassle you about all these little minutia, little things
in order to gain your compliance.
And then on top of that, we ask you to vote on this and that and that, and then you're just like, okay, just shut up. Give me your, we'll take your money. Just like stop. You don't, garnish my wages or threaten my family with violence. And,
right.
It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. It's like the human condition kind of summarized in that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's super relatable, all this part.
For sure.
And they ran at the sound of my voice for my glory in the greatness of my kingdom, and they committed great havoc. Yeah, I built colleges for training my young men in warfare. I drew a boundary hither and thither, saying, "This is my kingdom, all others are my enemies." I flattered the young men with the work of death and said, "Ye men of war, great shall be your glory." And their judgment was turned away from peace. I made them think that righteousness was to stand up for me and my country and to destroy my brother and his people. They built me forts and castles and arsenals without number. I called unto my people, saying, "Come, behold the glory of my defenses which I built for you." And they gave me money and garrisons and ships of war and torpedoes, shouting, "Hurrah for our kingdom! We have faith in these things more than in thee, our Creator." Thus I led them away from thee. Their eyes I turned down in the way of death. By the might of my armies I put away righteousness. I covered the earth over with drunkards, widows, and orphans. To beggary I reduced them. But I whetted their pride by saying, "Behold, what great standing armies we have." To the man that said, "There shall come a time of peace, when war shall be no more forever," I mocked and said, "Thou fool." I know the counts against me, O Father. I cannot hide my iniquity from thy sight. I have said war was a necessary evil to prevent a too populous world. I turned my back toward the wide, unsettled regions of the earth. With this falsehood in my mouth, I stood up before thee. Yea, I cried out for the righteous, saying, I war for righteousness, and for the protection of the weak. In the destruction of my brethren, I stood as a murderer, pleading this excuse. Stubbornly, I persisted in not seeking justice on the other side, whilst I cut down whom thou hast created alive. Above the works of thy hand, I raised myself up as a pruning knife in thy vineyard.
What a great analogy.
Right? Yea, more than this, I persuaded my sons and daughters that to war for me was to war for our Father in heaven. By such blasphemy, I led them into ruin. And when the battle was over for a day, I cried out, Behold the glory of them that were slain for the honor of their country. Thus have I added crime to crime before thee, Jehovah, thus destroyed thy beautiful creation. Verily have I not one word in justification of my deeds before thee. Oh, that I remained faithful with thee, Jehovah, but I invented gods unto glory of the evil one. In one place I called out to my sons and daughters, saying, Be ye Brahmins, Brahma saveth whosoever possesseth this name. In another place I said, Be ye Buddhists, Buddha saveth whoever calleth on his name. In another place I said, Be ye Christians, Christ saveth whoever calleth on his name. In another place I said, Be ye Mohammedans, whosoever saith there be one God and Muhammad is his prophet, shall have the indulgence without sin. Thus have I divided the earth, O Jehovah, into 4 great idolatries have I founded them, and into their hands put all manner of weapons of destruction, and they are become more terrible against one another than are the beasts of the forest. Oh, that I could put away these great iniquities which I raised up as everlasting torments to the earth. Verily, there is no salvation for any of these. Their people are forever destroying one another. They quarrel and kill for their respective religions, setting aside thy commandment, thou shalt not kill. They love their own nation and hate all others. They set aside thy commandment, love thy neighbor as thyself. They preach and pray in sufficient truth, but not one of these people practiceth peace, love, and virtue in any degree commensurate with their understanding. These religions have not saved from sin any nation or city on the whole earth. In vain have I searched for a plan of redemption, a plan that would make the earth a paradise, and the life of man a glory unto thee, and a joy unto himself. But alas, the 2 extremes, riches and poverty, have made the prospect of a millennium a thing of mockery. For one man that is rich, there are 1,000 poor, and their interests are in interminable conflict with one another. Labor crieth out in pain, but capital smiteth him with a heartless blow. Nation is against nation, king against king, merchant against merchant, consumer against producer, yea, man against man, in all things upon the earth. Because the state is rotten, the politician feedeth thereon. Because society is rotten, the lawyer and court have riches and sumptuous feasts. Because the flesh of my people is rotten, the physician findeth a harvest of comfort. Now, O Jehovah, I come to thee. Thou holdest the secret of peace and harmony and goodwill amongst mortals. Give me of thy light, O Father. Show me the way of proceeding, that war and crime and poverty may come to an end. Open thou the way of peace and love and virtue and truth, that thy children may rejoice in their lives and glorify thee and thy works forever. Such is the voice of man, O Jehovah. In all the nations of the earth, this voice riseth up to thee, as thou spakest to Zarathustra and to Abraham and Moses, leading them forth out of the darkness. O speak thou, Jehovah. Man hath faith in thee only. Thou alone wast sufficient in the olden time. Today thou art sufficient unto thine own creation. Speak thou, O Jehovah.
All right.
So, yeah, that's where we'll leave it for today. That's the first 2 books.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think so far?
I mean, I think it's going to be a very cool rendition of the same kind of ideas, the philosophical, like, underpinnings that man's suffering brings about, but with a fresh story. Hopefully, I don't know yet, but like fresh story to go along with it that might shed or at least illuminate a little bit different ideas along with the, overarching ideas and like archetypes and that, this and that, as far as humanity goes. Yeah. Which is kind of the point of every story and art, and like they all have the same kind of. Yeah. I just see it as another way to interpret the world and use to your advantage when advantageous, right? Yeah. I think this sort of introductory couple chapters do a really good job of setting the stage for like why
we need this information, right? Like this narrator of that second book we read is like, at one point I thought it was the devil.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like, it's the devil in men. Like it's us.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's all of us. And it does such a good job at just laying out our shortcomings, laying out all these things that we do to ourselves.
The things that we do to ourselves,
each other,
and the things that we do to each other, and then the realization of why and where that comes from too. Like, it's like the whole Carl Jung like idea of dualism within the individual. Like, we are our own potential devil, and we are our own potential savior.
Right.
Like it all exists within us.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of discerning your feelings and your intentions.
Yeah. What you're saying right there, I think could be like laid out as like a theme of this book, because it goes through cycles of like us getting closer to God and things being peaceful and things being beautiful, and then this like corruption and degradation and like turning into this like self-serving ways. And it seems to happen over and over and over in their accounting of our history. And that's that like cyclical nature of the thing that gets repetitive that I talk about. But it kind of like, once you get, even as far as I got, you're like, okay, I get the point. Like, we suck.
Well,
and it's not just us humans either. It's like the spiritual entities that are appointed to like help run things here.
It's the nature of the materialism in itself, right? Because like, if you are to allow the understanding of a spiritual nature of humanity at all, you're having to admit to a duality of your nature, and that comes with this cyclical, I am good, I am bad, I am. It's the balance that when you find the balance, and if you can find the balance within yourself, that's when work can be done. Not that it's forever, and not that balance can be held forever, but that's where the work on your spirit can be done.
And it's sense. Almost, I see what you mean. And it's almost like we need to have these failings in order to have fertile ground for like learning and growth, right? And so the cyclical nature of falling into corruption and failings and evil like is a cyclical way to give us a chance to rise and do good, right?
Yeah. And and within one lifetime of our human life, maybe only so much is done, but on a grander scale, there's much to be learned, and there's much to be experienced, and there's much to be acknowledged within the existence. So I'm so excited. I love this stuff, man. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, there's a chapter in here similar. Reminds me of like the book of Ezekiel or whatever, where like he gets taken up to the heavens and like basically given a tour. And I can't wait to get to that because it's super interesting.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning back in for this episode of Duality Check. If you guys want to follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube or Rumble, like, subscribe, comment, get involved. Let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know how you feel about us doing this more in the future. And if you've already read this, give us some insight on what you've got from it. But yeah, if you guys want to check us out, get everything in one spot, go to dualitycheck.net. It's got everything you need. It's got a great library, so if you can, you can use the keywords and search for any episode where we talk about, Satan, or where we talk about God, or where we talk about, libertarian ideas, or
like some of our biggest topics here like UFOs.
There you go, yeah.
You click here. Here's all the episodes we talk about UFOs.
And if you guys are following us on Instagram or Facebook, that's where we'll let you guys know when the episodes are about to be dropped. But otherwise, if you guys want to email us directly, it's host@dualitycheck.net. Otherwise, just DM us on any of these platforms. YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you might find us.
We'd love to hear from you. And
appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
Seeing you guys next week. Maybe we'll do some more on OAHSPE. Maybe we'll have a different topic. I don't really know.
Yeah, we'll let time tell.
It'd be fun to actually dig in a little further before we start. Because there's some good stuff here I want to get into.
We just laid the groundwork. We could. I think we could do another episode of this, and then before we move on to something else, give us a little bit of time to prep for another episode too. So, all right, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. See y'all next week.
Adios.
Later.